Introductionary theme! I forgot it last time! Introductionary theme! I was tired, that's why! JTAKRAOSPE6P1. The US version will be numbered 3 until this gets re-released. Today it's fourze 24s and 25, catching me up to the current episode. Come to think of it, I haven't mentioned where I get these episodes. Well, I only linked to this podcast from tv-nihon's forums, so it's their releases that I watch for the podcast. But it's worth mentioning over-tai.me. They do a swell job speed subbing tokusubs every week. I just prefer TV-Nihon because their forum's nicer. Also, they have a forum. Lots to talk about, so I'll get right to it. Kamen Rider Fourze, episode 24, the 119th episode. We begin once again with Fourze getting his ass beat. And once again, the monster of the week disappears in a flash to politely give our heroes time to recuperate. Donna Troy hides behind a corner, shaking his fist and thinking to himself that he'll get revenge for sort of not really losing to Kiknos the Swan Hero because Kiknos the Swan Hero grabbed Lucy hostage and I didn't bother to mention it last time. Troy is also thinking something along the lines of, "Yes, I'm still totally badass and evilish, even if the show's peered into my head more often than the titular character, and I never do anything evil." Alright, that's my new impression of him, since he is a fish man, and I figure he should gargle all the time like a fish. And if you think fish don't gargle, then start your own fucking podcast. While the opening plays out, Troy heads up to the space base, along the way greeted by Lucy, whose demonic aura is being taken for comic relief. I guess to the writers, the glorious might of Satan is hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, Fourze's friends come to the conclusion that Kiknos the Swan Hero is Totally White Swan from the last episode. Evidently they missed the preview for this episode where Totally White Swan says outright that she is Kiknos the Swan Hero. Meaning, of course, that the inconspicuous Jufro guy from last time has to be him. Elsewhere, on planet Earth, Clawful's hitting on some girl in his human form. And by hitting on some girl, I mean asking if she wants to play a game. Orko stops him from making this into Saw 24 and tells him to guard the new space monster. Even though I think that's the space monster that beat the shit out of Clawful last episode. Fourze and his excitable girl/friend check out the cult of Kiknos the Swan Hero so as to accuse Totally White Swan of being Kiknos the Swan Hero. She says outright that she is Kiknos the Swan Hero, pauses long enough for that to be in the trailer, and then starts a Spartacus thing where everyone's like, "I'm Kiknos the Swan Hero. No, I'm Kiknos the Swan Hero. I'm the Blue Ranger." And so on. Elsewhere, Lucy's theme is playing while she feels up spiritual ley lines or something and makes Donna Troy watch. The theme sounds like what would play if Inspector Gadget went to Hogwarts. It's like, na 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 na. And all of that has no point at all to it. While this is going down, Fourze and Excitable Girl give up on Totally White Swan and go to bat CG baseballs at a batting cage. Luckily, cosplaying guy from last episode is there to exposit some things. He's still dressed in the Kiknos the Swan Hero outfit he was in last time, so I'd like to think he bathes in it. Kiknos the Swan cosplayer mentions how he's had a hero complex ever since he saw Fourze beat a guy up. Now that might make you, the audience, think that he really is Kiknos the Swan Hero, what with the motivation and all. But he saw Kiknos the Swan Hero one other time after being beaten on the head, so he's cool probably. I mean, it's not like there's any villains on the show that change shape to mislead people or anything. Sensing that he should probably do something per his earlier scene in the episode, Clawful arrives and... oh crap, it's another crab battle between him and Fourze. Alright, fine. Snake Eater, it's time. On the field of batting, Papa Jorn Fourze brings out everything he forgot he could use last time. Of course, his tricks are no match for Clawful's massive claws. Well, claw, but one's enough. Having completed his mission, in other words, having appeared and done something, Clawful runs off with another pun. Naked and forced now. But I'm something like professional, so I'm moving on. While Fourze was fighting, Donna Troy and Lucy happened by Kiknos the Swan cosplayer. He doesn't notice the two since they hide for no reason, but he does see Kyknos the Swan Hero, who beats him senseless. Donna Troy and Lucy watch and record the scene with my favorite character, Robot Hot Dog. I guess they're into that sort of swan on man domination. Doesn't surprise me with Lucy. Later they go over the footage with Fourze and the rest of his pals, without actually showing the footage to the audience, probably because we already saw it and it's exactly what it looked like. Although, in spite of that, the conclusion they draw is that Kyknos the cosplayer is Kyknos the Swan Hero. So Fourze's bright plan is to get his friends to fight cosplay with cosplay by acting like they're in distress and costume for some reason, which will then tug at Kyknos the cosplayer's heartstrings until he helps out and thereby becomes good. I guess they know a place with good cheap costumes because they go through with the plan and disguise themselves as people having problems ranging from a girl about to be raped to a girl with her balloon stuck in a tree. Kyknos the Swan cosplayer, despite his hero complex, doesn't bite for their efforts. That, of course, is until he's moved. Absolutely moved by the girl with her balloon stuck in a tree. With an inspiring, yeah, okay, I can do that one. He gets the balloon out of the tree, and Fourze's friends all pop out to congratulate him on not being a douche 1 out of 4 times. Although, if you want to put it to a scale, he probably should have helped the girl about to get raped. Of course, by this point, all of Fourze's friends drop the disguises, and for the first time in his life, Boring Douchebag actually says a good line. That line being that the darkness in Kyknos the cosplayer's heart led to him giving birth to a dark hero. Dark meaning evil and not black. I hope. Fourze clarifies that what Boring Douchebag meant to say is that Kyknos the cosplayer is really Kyknos the Swan Hero. Kyknos the cosplayer is all like, F what? And Fourze's friends continue to blow his mind by showing him the footage recorded by Hot Dog Robot. Apparently back then he was just beating himself, and also hallucinating about the monster. At this point Kyknos the cosplayer's all like, Fight Club motherfucking derp. Then Kyknos the cosplayer has a freaky mind vision where he talks to Kyknos the Swan Hero. Also there's a piano there that changes places from shot to shot. Kyknos the Swan Hero asks, Quackaroony, are you a man or a swan hero? And Kyknos the cosplayer's all like, Sorry, bub, I'm a swan hero of a man. This breaks the freaky mind vision, and for once it seems like the guy isn't going to turn into the monster at the end of the arc. Can't have that, though, so Clawful appears out of nowhere. He abducts Kyknos the Swan cosplayer and takes him off to the cult of Kyknos the Swan Hero. Of course. Apparently they were in on the whole thing, and force Kyknos the cosplayer into pressing the monster switch one last... Wait, they can just force him? Alright. Well, they force him to press the switch, and he becomes Kyknos the Swan Hero again for the big climax. Now, you might be wondering why Clawful didn't just force the kid to press the switch himself. You might also wonder why the boss space monsters don't just force everyone to turn into a space monster. Well, that one I can answer at least. I mean, the whole drug metaphor would just get out of hand when they start breaking teenagers like that. Next thing you know, they'd abduct Liam Neeson's daughter, and all kinds of shit would go down, and it wouldn't be good for anyone. But as for why Clawful didn't just make that one kid do it, since the cult of Kyknos the Swan Hero was going to do it anyway, so Fourze arrives, and look, it's a climax! Fourze has a new super vacuum cleaner on his foot and everything. Oh, and look, Clawful! That means I can get out of here. What, again? Fine. A field of someplace that looks easy to clear out for filming, but Bjorn Fourze gets his ass beat. Not one to take a pounding 3 times in one episode, he fires a winch from his arms that ties around Clawful's claw. While Clawful is sorting out which way to go with this. Get it? Donna Troy challenges Kyknos the Swan Hero to battle. Proving that swans are no match for fish, Kicknose the Swan Hero is defeated. It was really anticlimactic. Back to fourze, he's trying to roast Clawful with a flamethrower. No, you fool, he's too powerful for that. But luckily, Clawful is feeling merciful, so when fourze is distracted, he just lets it go and runs off. Locker now, I think. Guess that's a step up. Oh no, there's a body. Well, back on the moon base, Fjorzengaard and friends are putting the fast food robots up to another chicken fight. Back on planet Earth, Kicknose the cosplayer is helping an old lady cross the road. He says something very much like, "Helping people is a pain, but I do it anyway, 'cause I'm such a great guy." And that's the end. So my thoughts on the episode? Well, I think we all learned something from this one. You see, much like Godzilla or Slim Shady, there's a little Kicknose the Swan Hero in all of us. Especially that Jufro guy. So I was right.